Thank you. He just said I have a good voice. Thank you, Matthew. Yes, Matthew Nabwiso is an actor. I'm sure he's a director as well.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a husband, he's a father, he's so many other things that I don't actually know that I'm going to get to know today. Because Mbozi and Julia for the first time, the detailed one. Do you know that we have ever worked together? But I'm sure you don't remember. Sometime in I don't know which year. I think 2005.
As in on the
but
show.
it was very brief. No, somewhere in a more 7th Street. Which street is that? Industrial area. Peacock.
What? Yeah.
Gachari, I was trying to find a full thing. I think we were there for less than a month or so.
Yeah, I think,
I never driven you in my car.
I kind of remember this face from somewhere. Maybe it's just TV.
How are the little ones?
The little ones are good.
And Eleanor?
Mulungi naye.
Wow. Lubwo yajja gwamuwerekera lero simulabi. Takuwerekedde.
Kubanga kati yaali padde alina okusigala ng'akola.
Ng'alabirira n'abaana.
Oh.
Okay. Tusanyusa okulaba.
Which
is your latest production?
Wanji?
Your latest production.
Our latest production kangamba tulina production emu eri continuous. Yeyo Sanyu series. Wetwogerera tuli mu season 4. Tubadde twaka broadcasting episodes nga lukaaga mu nkaaga. Twaka broadcasting.
It sounds too much. How long has it been running?
I know it has been running. This is what, our 4th year now. Kuba twatandika mu 2021, 2022, 2023. Oh, this is our 3rd year.
Okay.
So
Lukaaga, how many do we have to go?
This season twaka airing about 40 episodes. Season yenu tukyabulayo episodes endala 12.
Wangi.
Not 12 actually, 22. Season 4.
I think I'll just season eddako.
As long as Uganda bachanyumirwa show.
So how do you decide how many seasons production has?
Kati chisinzira kati shoje tulina eno Sanyu. It's a family show. Kati it is relatable a lot with everybody because everybody are belonging to family. Ate n'ekirala drama abeera mu family are endless. So
nemuba mugambe tujja kumala okulaba akantu
tuyiza okulanga aliwo akantu gane ate kano nga tetukakutteko. So eyo eyiza okuba broad, very broad. Naye nga also kisinziira ku audience reception. Abantu baba nga show bakyakinyumirwa nga tubongera singa batugamba nti bagikoye nga
because I have a friend who is always telling me about it.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So whose idea was it?
Idea no twakwatagana together with Mnet MultiChoice ne tusalawo kola eno show. The batuwa concept kati fene tujja adapting ne tukola now how this makes sense in our Ugandan culture, our Ugandan setting. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So good director.
Yes, I'm the director and the producer. Show endala je tubadde twakakola recently about the movie film bajita Karamoja twagishootingira Karamoja eyogera ku our cultural diversities. Tulaba omwami omuganda nga agenda okuwasa omukyalo mu Karamoja
nga yesize eki
kwagala yesize kwagala. So tuba tulaba the difference in culture mulina kola kino olina kola kiri bakati nga ffe mu Buganda oba mu south tulina culture different omukyala bw'omwagala omwogereza n'olaba abantu be. Kate mu Karamoja tulina ekipa kye twayega nti omukyala bw'omwagala tokoma kumwogereza olina omugoba emisinde
nemumulwanira
omugoba emisinde n'omukuba ekigo neweebaka naye olwo n'afuuka muki
ng'ensi eraba
ye culture. It's an African culture, ye culture. Kiringa wonaga nti buli kitundu kibeera ne culture y'enjawulo kati ye culture.
Osooka kwebaka naye bw'omwagala n'omuwasa bw'otamwagala
kasita weebaka naye aba afuuse mukyalawo. Aba afuuse mukyalawo.
byambirigo
but there's your beauty your cultures
omusanga waabwe ne bamugamba nti wuyazze nadduka
n'otamusanga oyinza n'omusanga ku luzzi oyinza omulinda ng'agenda ku luzzi n'omulengera misinde naye alina okudduka
abakimanyi nti agoba nze
abayera okimanyi oba muntu akugoba omulaba
aba yakusuulasulayo dde obugambo
ne waba talasuulangayo kasi twatandika okugoba omanya
kati gubanga mukolo nti ne famire yeemanyako mu today is the day
eyinza okumanyako eyinza obutamanyako naye kasita omugoba n'omukuba ekigo neweebaka naye ng'afuuka mukyalawo
kati n'omuwala adduka ndowooza mpola waba yakwagadde
adduka mpola waba takwagadde alina okudduka ennyo olabe mukwata era abamu bagamba n'abamu kye bakola kati ofunako n'abakolaki n'abakuyambako okugoba n'omugoba n'omukwata so bye bino byosanga mweno movie naye nga firimu nnungi nnyo yogera okulaga our cultural differences yafulumye twagiraga mu cinema recently kati tubadde tulina endala gye twakakola gye bayita Christmas Together tusuubira ogifulumya this Christmas as Nabwiso Films then tulinayo n'endala ate era feature film bagiyita Sabotage nayo tupulaninga ogifulumya Christmas Sabotage twagikola si ya Christmas naye twagala gifulumya Christmas naye nga Sabotage twagikolera wamu ne kitongole kye bayita Reach a Hand Uganda and South Media Hub so ne tukola ne movies so Christmas we are producing 2 feature films.
Sabotage ekwata ki?
Sabotage is eri ku mukolo gwa kwanjula
wajja nakyankalanya kwaya
kati waliwo ajja okukyankalanya kwaya kati akacyankalana aka temujja
gwe baali banjula
gwe baali banjula akyali muzannyi mupya mpozi maybe abamu bayinza okuba bamulabyeko mu ssanyu naye acyankalanya aluddewo tumulabyeko ng'azannyako wano ku NTV kitundu ekyo kizannyibwa omuwala amuyita Ella Nantumbwe.
Sabotage yali ayagala naye omusajja bali banjula
ye mukyankalanya omutuufu naye nnungi nnyo
okay Matthew bamuzaala Samuel Busoga right?
Yes banzaala Busoga banzaala Jinja era nazaalibwa mu Jinja Hospital tuva mu kaalo ke bayita Mutayi Kagoma County. Nzaalibwa omwami Dr. Frank Nabwiso n'omukyala Christine Nabwiso.
Dr. Frank Nabwiso the honorable.
Yes.
Gyali naye mu house yavaamu
yavaamu mu house naye kati abadde akyali nga ekisinga omutwalira obudde awandiika ayagala nnyo musajja okuva dde ayagala nnyo okudocumentinga history saabadde ali mu kuwandiika ebitabo ebikwatagana ku Busoga ebikwatagana ku certain specific individuals in Busoga so kyaze byebimu keepinze busy right now. Agenda bifulumya bikyali in the work actually akola ku bitabo bingi era tukikolako right now tubadde tukola ku documentary first kubanga twagala abeere involved mu documentary then ne movie ejja kubejja
kale inshallah. Babazaala bameka?
Baatuzaala 9.
Mwawera?
Twawera.
Gwe ng'oli wakumeka?
Nze ndi wa 5.
Mulimu abalera abazanya movies oba gwe
nzazanya movies zekka naye nga baganda bange abo bakolera wamu nange nabo be bazanya kuba muwala omuto omuwala anzirako omu gwe bayita Jasmine naye yazanyako mu ssanyu nga maama wa ssanyu eyafa n'azanyako ne mu bucommercials then mukulu wange gwe bayita Jonathan naye n'azanyako abadde atera okuzanya bu extra roles mu ssanyu naye nga okusinga atera akolanga production manager.
Lwaki obazanyise mu burozi obutono baliiti
era nabo oluusi mbanka asebakake okugamba baali tebabirowoozako balowooza more of the administrative work gye baagala okukola okusinga.
Wasomera Jinja?
Nasomera Jinja nasomera Busoga kaŋŋambe kuba nasooka nensomerako actually primary 1 and 2 nasomera Tororo. Twali Tororo somero nga bayita Elgon View.
Lwaki nga muli Tororo?
Twali Tororo somehow obulamu bwatusanga eyo ne bamuzeeyi Tororo eyo simanyi oba twatuukayo tutya naye gye twasanga
gye baali bamupostinga. Dr. Nabwiso, Dr. Frank, musawo medical?
No, it's a PhD bitabo. So P1 and 2 nasomera Tororo Elgon View. P3 nenvayo ne bantwala Kamuli bayitayo Kamuli Boys nensomera P3 ne nga twalina fujjo ne kazini wange nga bamuyita Joel Magora nagamba ayi nesomero tetuyisa bwe mutujjeyo
telibayisa bulungi
ne batujjayo ne batwala Mwiri Primary. Mwiri Primary tusoma P4 P5 P6 obulamu ne bukaluba nnyo
lwaki
si fujjo lyaliwo naye first of all nga tebatukkiriza kuleeta byakulya ku ssomero tebakkiriza bazadde kukyala kati ng'enjala eyinza obbaluma enjala yatulumanga ng'ate n'akamere nga batuwa akamere katini
tebabakkiriza kuleeta byakulya ate tebabawa byakulya
nga batuwa naye nga batuwa katini
naye n'abaana balenzi balya nnyo
bwewaawo abaana balya nnyo naye n'akamere nga katini in that tubatuwanga akamere naye ate nga bw'omala n'oyomba nti akamere tekakumaze
kibooko
asaavinga ayinza okukuba
ekikopo kya plastika
mutwe kale kikola golusi okakkana n'odduka n'ogenda kati ekiro mayi bantu oba balinamu nettima nga batuwa emmere kyokka obumere butini esigadde ne bagitereka
nga ya breakfast
oba olwokundooza abamu nga batwalako ewaka bamala okutwalako kawunga bijanjaalo ng'ate mulimu ne kawukumi
kawukumi yatuleka
naye nga tebatuweemala bagirekayo mu sowaani kati olwo tuza okukka ekiro saa 6 gwa kiro 7 netugenda neturaidinga efumbiro bakusanga musepiki agira ogisikamu empempe ate bwogisikamu n'ogikuba mu saati n'ofuluma ng'otunulaolinga talina kati banno we bakulaga oyo alabika alina empempe emisinde
eyawansi
empembe sikyajjukira
mu
Busoga I think bagiyita mpempe eyo nga sebo mudduka emisinde kiro no saa 7 gwa kiro odduka kweka n'abala bajjagalako but it was an interesting life obulamu bwatuyiga okuhasulinga netubeera ba hustlers nti olwaleero obeera mu obulamu ne bukaluba n'olaba abantu bafuna mental health nogaa kati laba ono yali alabye eki obulamu bwali bukaluba naye bwatraining okuyiga how to survive.
So gye wamalira ne P7?
P7 nenzirayo ne tuddayo Kamuli Boys nga tulaba ono obulamu bukalubye nnyo. Kamuli Boys otwaddanga ate nga ate yo they used to serve us 5 meals a day.
Wow.
Yeah, mulya breakfast ne mulya break ne mulya lunch ne mulya evening tea ne mulya dinner.
Kati lwaki mwali muddukayo in the first place? Buto. Mwaite munalaba nnaku ne mugenda ne mugiraba.
Ne tu appreciating.
All right, let's take a break.
P7.
Okay, Matthew Nabwiso is a film actor, yes, also director. When we come back, what next after his primary? Did he even ever see himself do what he's doing right now? I don't know. To come out of our. Yes, Twesimye Ochalina Veku, MWASUZE MUTYA. Greetings to everybody watching us live on Facebook, also on YouTube, plus Facebook and NTV and Spark TV. Tuline Matthew Nabwiso. Musajja movie actor. I'm told he's a singer as well. Ochamanya okuyimba.
Simanyi banchama.
He's a director, also a producer, but also a business entrepreneur. So secondary school no genda.
Secondary school olungenda Busoga College Mwiri for my senior 1 up to senior 4. It was a different experience. Yali experience nungi nnyo. I think najagala nnyo. Ngesomerina a very good scenery. Ngobereri waggulu n'olengera ennyanja it has a very beautiful
scenery. Natuuka bino byenjagala. Tulabika ali mwana ng'oyagala ebirungi.
Birungi era nga byagala nnyo. Twambala white shorts and shirts nga
temugambwako olwo olina cousin woli Magola.
Cousin wange twakola nnyo effujjo okuva mu primary ku senior 1 ne batwawula agaaba no kubasobola tubaawule college ye n'agenda Namasagali. N'agenda Namasagali.
Ate gwe wandigenze Namasagali.
Kati era bwe tutuuka S4 nenga kati ngenda Namasagali. Kati bantwale Namasagali ye ne bamugjayo ne bamutwala I think Jinja College. Yeah.
All these times nalabako wojja Kampala.
Kakati I think moving Kampala in around 1990 because my dad moving ngakola mu Uganda Export Promotion Council. He was the director of Uganda Export Promotion Council. That's how posting, that's how we end up in Kampala.
Ngoli mu secondary ready?
End of primary P7 Vakao. Yeah.
Okay.
Kampala tubeere Kanyanya ku kaalo ke Kanyanya. Twabeeranga ku kaalo nga tulinako abavubuka nga baali bamuyita Sali Kibebekulu ng'azimbira ku kaalo nogaana musajja
yali ayimba
yali atandiikiriza okuyimba. Actually one of the times ku kaalo twali tusula actually mu nyumba ya the mother. So that's how we got to know each other.
Okay. Yakuinspiring n'okuyimba?
See, not really, but still olaba omuntu ku kaalo omuyimbi nogawayo osanga but my inspiration y'okuyimba ate njifunira Namasagali when I went for my senior 5 and senior 6. Namasagali nga Father Grimes are promoting a new arts. Ng'olina okubanga either oyimba oba ng'ozina oba you had to do something ate kirina compulsory. Ng'era bakusanga ku sports time nga tolina kyokola nga tokola sports oba toyimba oba to actinga kibooko nga kibooko zikulya. Yali agoba naye yalwangawo okugoba yakkiririzanga nnyo mu kudisciplininga omwana n'akyuka naye nga bw'olemwa bwakugoba naye ate nga bwakugoba kiba kizibu okufuna essomero eddala eddungi lyonna e Uganda. Kuba yawandiikiranga amasomero gonna Namiryango Buddo mugobye era nga bw'ogenda nga tobakuwa kifo.
Obuvunaanyizibwa nga yabusussa ati
nnyo
kyali kuteeka abaana mu mbeera nti don't be in this otherwise ogenda kamonkoli SS.
Era yakikolanga bulungi nnyo. So Namasagali
so all through primary ne all level nga to acting?
No, I wasn't. Nali nga sikirowooza nako. It's basically academics and a bit of sports. I like playing basketball. Okay, twabeerangamuko nebye twakolanga like
miming.
No, miming wasn't there. Okay, nga twabeeranga like ne zebayitanga inter-house competitions. Naye nga mbibeeramu era nga mbeera eri ku line esembayo emabega nga byampaka. Naye bwe ngende Namasagali ndina abavubuka benkwatagana nabo waliwo omuvubuka bamweta Elias Buhabura. Ngalo omuvubuka omulala bamuyita Emmanuel Tebandeke, omulala bamuyita Herbert Bwenje. Kana basanga baagalanga nnyo okuyimba akapera eza Boys to Men wezagira nenga abavubuka bano nga bayimbisa ekintu kino nensala okukola ki okubegattako. So nga tubeera omwo Namasagali so nga era mubeera ne shows ez'okumiminga oluusi n'ez'okuyimba. Kati twabeeranga with what they used to call the father's lesson nga before that you can either mime or sing. So one time tubeera nono omuvubuka bamuyita Elias so nga ajja doing an Boys to Men a cappella. In the still of the night I held you tight. I was like, hey, vukanga ine dobozi. So nemwesibako. So somehow that is how I got interested mukwagala okuyimba and then we started doing singing a cappella songs.
Engeri gye bagamba nti you must have something kye weetabamu. Wali onoonya naawe ngwawa.
Yeah, nga noonya wengwa. And nenesangaawo and also on the drama side Nemberamu, but I used to be more of a dancer at the time. I used to be one of more of these people who would dance.
Dance ye wali omwekakasa.
Ne dance ye nali mwagala nnyo era nga mwekakasa kuba nzijukira okuwinninga competitions za Zouk, was dancing Zouk, and I think even one time we had reggae dance competitions and I won.
Okay, ate byobukulembeze.
ebyobukulembeze saali mukulembeze
engeri gye walina effujjo
saali mukulembeze. I never got to be a mukulembeze nga ndi mu ssomero. I think obukulembeze ate mufunye luvannyuma.
So you malira senior 6?
Nje malira senior 6
onto campus.
Wenvaawo nensooka nenteekingamuko ka break awo olwonfuna akalima awo mbala kasente nsooka nfuna akalimu nga nsooka nkolerako ku Grand Imperial Hotel kati nave namasagali nga good swimmer. So wengenda ku Grand Imperial Hotel mbasaba omulimu okukola nga lifeguard. 6 vaaka awo oyagalayo akalimu oyagalayo akasente bwemumala olweggulo omwezi wegugwako osobola okugulirako banno ebyokulya nebyokunywa.
Abawaka oba okukyalo babadde
bo betwali nabo ku ssomero, so kyekyampushing okufuna omulimu. And also nalina vision ey'okwagala okuba independent.
So,
yeah, my parents were supporting it, so that kyekyampushinga okutandika okukola. So nenkola Grand Imperial for some years as a lifeguard. In the process creating a swimming team, which ended up winning all the swimming clubs. Nakola swimming club which was one of the best. Kubanjukira mu swimming club yange about 50 or 60% of the people in my club were competing on the national team. I actually found myself also training on the national swimming team at the time. Yeah.
Okay. Olwo byogenda ku university ng'obivuddeko?
Nga sibivuddeeko naye nga ntutemuko ka break, but I also had a vision of saying I wanted to pay my own tuition at university.
Nga daddy zimulemeredde oba ng'omusaasira?
Natalemereddwa nga musaasira ndaba abaana tuli bangi, but I just wanted to be that self-made man. Nemuga njagala nkole era bwe nakola nintandika okukola ki okwesasulira tuition. So I eventually did a bachelor's in business administration, but this was after a year of a break kuba nalina okutula nendowooza naye njagala kukola ki kusoma ki.
Being the doctor he is taatawo teyakugamba gwe ssebo ebyo byonyumiza breaks bitegeera. I haven't failed to pay your money.
My dad is very liberal. Ye yatugamba nga kintu kimu nti you had the one thing he ever inherited from his dad zaali engato amakalabanda
ng'afudde
nga tanafa naye, but that is what he gave him. N'amugamba mwe baana bammwe ekyengendo bawa is education, naye if you want it oba tojagala sikukaka. Era teyakakako enovasi okusoma. Era baganda bange olwa beesulanga maaka embaya namuleka n'atula omwaka mulamba bwazuuka naganja akudda kusoma n'addayo. So ne bweno bwe nabikola yandeka. Ndina abalala b'okuweereza school fees bangi, so if you want to take a break kiri gy'oli. Nandeka I took a break naye bwe mmala nintandika okwesasulira tuition okusoma that business administration kuba nakirowoozamu ne ŋŋamba nsome koosi ki. Nengamba singa mba ngambye nti njagala kubeera engineer. Ba engineer abakola ssente be baba owning engineering firms, and that is running a business. When mba ngambye nti doctor, the people who make money as doctors are those people who own clinics and hospitals. Lawyers asinga ssente you are owning a law firm. So nemanya nti whatever I'm going to do in life I have to run a business. To run it as a business. Nengamba kansome business administration. So I have the knowledge of doing business. Kati kyenakola kyonna nja running as a business. So that is how I ended up doing that course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abavubuka batera okukasatandika okukwata ku ssente. Ate kati wuyo wali okoze ne club yo ate ng'ekola bulungi kati ate kiki ekintwala ku ssomero?
No, muzeeyi waffe yatubuuliranga nnyo the importance of education. So twakula tukimanyi nti much as twagala okukola, but education is very important. Knowledge is power. So nakimanya at the back of my mind ne bwe naakola ssente naye mba siina magezi zijja kuggwawo.
Okay. So wali osoma course yo era nga ne club yo wogitwala maaso bolongo venturing into something else?
I was doing the course nga when ngenda maaso with the swimming club at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Acting ng'obitadde ku bbali?
Acting nga mbiteesa ku bbali. Naye over the years nga I went and joined a church bagiyita Kansanga Miracle Center. Maybe just before that nga bwe nakugenda twamitinganga ku kaalo ne babebe twagala nnyo okuyimba twagendanga okuyimba mu Sabrina's pub nga tuyimba karaoke. That's where I got to interact n'abayimbi abalala. Najjukira kati nawo ati y'okuyimba njijje n'amasagali bavubuka be nalinga nabo so nga I like to sing. So mu holidays nga tugamba tugenda ku Sabrina's pub ne tuyimba karaoke ani Juliana Kanyomozi, Irene Namubiru bonna. Actually those two nali nabo n'amasagali. So nga twagala nnyo okugenda okuyimba. So nga tugenda tuyimba I believe I can fly, bump and grind, biti woyimba ne bakufuwayo 12,400 olomanya teri kutambula kuddayo ndinamu transport ate nsobola n'okugulayo ekyokunywa. Era nga kizabera ngo making sure nti oyimba n'okooka nnyo
ne bakusimba ne
bakufuwa
batakufuuye nga olunaku lw'olugenda
oddeyo kanyanya
sokoleke walole batakufuuwa
obaera lule batatufuuwa nga batakufuuwa mukwano gwo bwatakutaasa ng'ogenda kutambula. Twatambulanga abavuka bangi bano abavuka ba kukuli nga batambula bakuva Makindye ne bajja ku Sabrina's okuyimba naye ng'olina okuyimba ne bakufuuwa otherwise ogenda katambula okazzaayo basaawa 4 za kiro 5. So arts wakulira munze musically. So as we were doing naina other friends omu baali bamuyita Luthati bainanga ka group ke bayitanga Legends nga mulimu Luthati, Karim Jeans and Titus Takuba. Titus sijjukira. I think the last time I heard he was in Brussels. I've not heard from him in a long time.
Yali muvubuka mwerondoza mu kyotala kyotala.
Yes. Yeah, ne Karim Jeans naye yali mu kyotala kyotala. So twabeeranga ne Luthati ya inspired me nnyo mu by'okuyimba nga ayimba bulungi nnyo. He had a very good voice ate nga ayagala nnyo to sound like Luther Vandross. So budde butuuka Luthati alokoka agenda mu kanisa. Kamba
omusajja abadde ayimba bw'atyo.
Omusajja adayimba bw'atyo kiki? Naye nga mala mujjeeko mu kanisa mulabe mujje mulabe. So one time ngenda yokulaya nengana eki kyatwala omusajja ono mu kanisa. So mbasanga bayimba mu choir, they were singing very beautiful as like kwalingako ennyimba ennaku ezo eza Kirk Franklin nga akyaka nnyo nga bakuba ennyimba nogabananga baana gabayimba bano. I said this is good, nja kuddayo olwokubiri. So nzirayo olwokubiri kolwe naddayo olwokubiri omusumba nampamba anga tova wano gogenda sigala wano owereze Pastor Chiwewezi. That's how I ended up in Kansanga Miracle Center Church. Tubeereeyo mbeera muyimbi mu choir. At some point I became a choir music director. So as being in the choir, we used to perform shows over Easter, over Christmas, what. So there was this time trying to call a production year Christmas. So nga tulina okuyimba tukole n'omuzannyo. So omuzannyo guno gwe twali tukola nga tuzannya nti nga Yesu tanajja ku nsi kuzaalibwa kyekyali mu ggulu.
Mu ggulu?
So nga tulina okuzannya ekyali mu ggulu nga Yesu tanajja.
Ani yali akimanyi oyo? Mwayiyawo.
Twalina omuvubuka nga bamuyita Paul Kirimuto. He was very, very creative. He was a good actor and very creative. So he had to come up with, let's imagine what happened in heaven before this happened. Tulaba Katonda ali ne bamalayika be agaba naye tulina okugenda tununula abaana ku nsi ani anaatugendera. Bamalayika bonna ne batya. Then mwana we Yesu n'amugamba agenda. Nagamba mwana wange tewandigenze.
Ani yali Yesu awo mu muziki
kati awo waliwo yazannyawo nga Yesu. So in the process waliwo omuvubuka yali azannya nga Katonda. Ko rehearsal yasooka n'alabika. Rehearsal eyokubiri n'atajja. Kati ono Paul Kirimuto nga Matthew ojiro standing in for this person yazanye nga Katonda. Day 1. Day 3 omusajja ratayajja. Nangamba era azanya. Kati nga this is like Wednesday we are performing this show on Sunday. Thursday tazze. Nangamba omanyi ogenda gizanya party. Nemugamba gundi lindako nze ndi muyimbi siri muzanyi. Nyimba buyimbi abalala ne basanya.
Ntino.
Nagamba
yazalibwanga muzanyi.
Nagamba gwe wagende n'amasagali toyinza kubanga tosobola kuzanya ogenda kizanya.
Wali tozanyangako?
Nali sizanyangako nayimbanga buyimbi nakuzina kubibya.
Nenga bwe standing in balabamu ka talent.
Yeah, he just had faith in me nti obanga wagende Namasagali oyina talent. Kati awo nentandika okirowoozaako ne ŋŋamba naye gundi Katonda afaanana ati. Va ku nnaku zino tulabye Katonda ng'abantu bazannya ba Morgan Freeman nga bamuzannya. Before then teri muntu yali azannya. Abantu bonna abazannyanga Katonda nga balaga just oba lightning, you know. Nentandika okirowooza ne ŋŋamba kati Katonda afaanana atya. Aseka, asanyuka, akola atya. Teri role yali entewaanyizza mu bulamu ng'eyo. To act as God. Naye I had to think about ne ŋŋamba okay Katonda. What is God's goal? Ayagala kununula bantu be. Okay. Ayina relationship ne mutabanyi we Yesu. Sinza jimanya, sibeerangayo. Ene ŋŋamba let me imagine myself nga as a father. Nandi badina relationship ki n'omwana wange. So I thought along those lines.
Go alina no coming up with your script.
Yes, because
no naye musajja atu yali tabimanyi nga
yeah, nga scenario naga kati. You think of something like that and come up with something. So anyway, long story short, Sunday netuuka nenzanya nga Katonda nga bankoledde amadaala ntuula eri waggulu nyambadde ebyeru ndi n'engule what bankoledde eddoboozi lyogera nga ddene nenjogera ngenda okulaba abantu nga batandika okukaaba mu audience nenga kyekigenda mu maaso nengende kanzanye nenzanya naye bwe tumala production yeeyo abantu bajja ne baŋŋamba nti for a minute wazanye ne twerabira nti tuli ku nsi nga tulabira ddala tuli mu ggulu ne tutandika n'okwenenya ebibi negamba ekiki negamba okay so my acting had this impact on people. Maybe nsobola okukikola. So that is how I get introduced into acting.
Gwe gusooka biggest role.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Nenga wali mulokole.
Nali ndokose munnange. Bankwata nalokokera ku pistol. Alokokera ku pistol naye.
Yagamba Mafia okubeera.
Mafia jangu olokoke. Nenga akontu. In fact mukwalo yasukana nawe. Ono Luther Tikendroka nga ndakanze ndi mulokole. Mulokole kwanza yene.
Nenga wali muki.
Nali siri just nali protestor nga siri musumba abaana atera okusabira abaana ga waliwo omukwano gwange nalabi wano jangu nga nfudde naye mba nyambuka wali ku katuuti ne ŋŋamba Mukama nyamba saagala kuggwa bigwo bino obwedda byennatunga ekyo kyali kikiza okumpisa saagala bigwo bino
tewali mukkiriza
saagala nanga saagala ddala bintu
wagwa
saagwa era nentuuka nantusako emikono nasengainebe
noyatula
nenjatula munnaye nga kale kantambule
eventually wamaana olokokera
nendokokera ddala nembeeramu era nempereza mu kanisa okumala emyaka gyali 8 oba 9 oba 10 nga ndi muweereza mu kanisa omwo.
So after that role n'okugizanya obulungi you picked interest.
I picked interest. So mba ndi awo lumu nempulira nti waliwo film director yavudde Netherlands abadde mu film school azze okuzanya film bamuyita Matt Bish nga lisoundinga nga linnya lya muzungu nenakatugenda tulaba omuzungu ono netugendayo nga alina auditions. Was auditioning for TV commercials. So nengenda nengade zisika TV commercial omuntu aba ava mu buliri naseerera ku kapeti nagwa nagamba netaga kapeti nengamba kale kati nenzirewa Paul kiri muto yali an training nanga kati role bangambye olina okuserera. Of course training okuserera nga baserera ku stage nogwa kati bwe naddayo with all the confidence nenjira bwe nti nensera nangamba bwebuzibwa mufanyira n'abaana Uganda temumanyi kwawula stage na film nangamba training yonna yabadde yaweerere okay kantule sebo njigiriza tuzanya tutya film. So natuteeka mu film acting workshop for some months. Netukola ka commercial, but then he was also coming up with a feature film gye baali bayita Battle of the Souls. Basinga bagimanyanga film ya Roger Mugisha. So ne auditioning I got a main role as the main character nze yazanyanga Roger Mugisha in that movie. Nekola bulungi and that is how I got introduced.
Wazanyanga Roger Mugisha?
Yes.
Roger Mucha teyaliimu naye mwali mumuzannya.
Twali tumuzannya. Twali tumuzannya. So nze yazannya role eyo and the film nekola bulungi nnyo ne winning very many international awards and nominations. So that was my journey. Nenkyagala nnyo nnyo nnyo. Ate ne mbeera inspired nnyo by this smart bitch ne ngamba one day. Yatuulanga n'atunyumiza stories zaabwe za film school, n'atunyumiza their film directors,
teyasomera muno film.
Teyasomera muno film, yagisomera Netherlands. Ne ngamba nange one day nange njagala mbeere film director. Ne kirooto ekyo nenkikwa nenga era namwetegerezanga nnyo akola atya, directing atya, akola atya, nga mwetegereza nnyo 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 nnyo. After a short while ne Peter to do some auditions zaali by Fast Track Productions nga bagenda kukola series gye bayita The Hostel. Nengenda
kati fe tutandika okumanyira nze okumanya hostel.
Mumanyira mu hostel naye nga tebi hostel nali nzanye Battle of the Souls ne Matt Bish, nali nzanye naye another film bali bagita The State Research Bureau yali ya Idi Amin Obote, nenzanya naye film gye bali bayita A Good Catholic Girl. Now A Good Catholic Girl nayo was a short film but it's one of my best roles I think I've acted also.
Zona Prince mulabamu.
Era twali fenna ne Prince tutandika fenna. Naye nayagala nnyo A Good Catholic Girl because erina kyeyanjigiriza. First of all, as an actor olina ekintu what we call character research. Kati mu A Good Catholic Girl nzanyanga omusajja, he was a butcher nga butcherman nga bamuyita Ahmed.
Mtemi wa nyama.
Kati nga bazadde gwe baagaliza muwala waabwe kubanga ki musiraamu, naye nga ate omuwala ayagala Catholic boy.
Abazadde lwaki bali baagala Catholic?
Abazadde bali basiraamu. Abazadde bali basiraamu.
Abazadde bani ba Catholic girl.
Yes, nga baagala muwala waabwe awase mwana musiraamu.
The Muslim parents had a Catholic daughter.
No, the title of the movie is called A Good Catholic Girl because in the story the girl says, I want to be a good Catholic girl. Yes, so that is my as it was their tradition. Yeah, so or religion. So role yanyumiranye because it got me to do a lot of research about Islam. Nenjiga Islam, I learned recitations, I learned what I enjoyed doing that role.
Ate lwaki wali obiyiga nga you were a Catholic?
Because ngachi anze nali musiramu in the role.
Really?
Prince yali azanyanga Catholic. Nze nali nzanyanga.
You're the butcher, you're Ahmed.
Yeah, I was Ahmed. Yeah. So nengenda ntandika okola research, before you know it ngagenda okoma okuset. Some of these things I was never going to use them in the movies, but chanyamba okuyiga. So ngenda okudda tuba tuli awo nga ntandika labbana ata la fidunia al hasana wa fila ata al hasana wa kuna dhadha nat wa dhadha al kadud. But it was an interesting journey. It was an interesting journey. I learned, it made me become the person I've never been. I learned things I never paid attention to or thought were necessary, but that is the beauty of film.
So Katibino, although these recitations you found somebody nakusomesa?
Yes.
Oba wagenda nga ku Google.
Ngafuna mikwano gyange abasiraamu ne banjigiriza. Nenjiga okusaala, nenjira okukola recitations, nenjiga. So by the time I went to go back and do this role as Ahmed, I was Ahmed. That role got me my biggest accolade, which is Best Actor in a Supporting Role in the Africa Magic Viewers Choice Awards, the very first one. I am still holding that only accolade by an actor in Uganda.
Only?
10 years down the road.
Only?
Yes. So it is one of the best films. No Ugandan has ever won that award.
In Uganda.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. They are going to other countries, but I hope somebody will go back and bring us a second one.
Okay.
We need it.
We take a break now. We take our hostel. How did you join? Were you outsourced? Did you audition?
I auditioned.
Was it easy for you?
I auditioned. It wasn't easy. Actually, when I get auditioning, I'm hosting a soccer auditioning role ya Odoch. which was later done by Daniel Omara.
Odooki n'olugezigezi lwe.
Nabagizanya ngamba
Vibe.
Then later I was called back to audition for a different role, which is Gilo.
Let's take a break. To come out, please don't go.
Yes, 3 or something like that. Please enjoy your stay.
I've come to demand for democracy.
As who?
I'm the face of democracy here. You are pushing democracy.
Am I the father of democracy? Let's go.
What? You almost flashed your goodies for all to see. What do you want from my man? Odosh, is she addressing me?
You know I can get any girl I want.
Is that so? Brother John, you don't seem to be fine. What's the problem?
Sister Hope, it's not good for us to sit so near each other. Annette, you are a beautiful girl.
I wish things would be different between the two of us.
You have also arrived finally. Welcome to the hostel. Please have your cheese here.
No. Okay, thank you. Yes, that's the hostel. You remember very much NTV Ngayakaja. Drama is one of those things that Jeoparding in, and Hostel was one of those productions. Exactly, Zatundenyu and Matthew here was one of the actors. Yaine fujo muvubuka Gilo simukwanyi mulwadde. Naye nga weekwanirayo Patra nga naye akusobola.
Nkwana ku Patra ate wemala ne nkwanako ku Hope wemala nga yansala mu maaso awo.
Natosaaga. Twakumanyira. Were you also a model? Are you a model?
I did modeling for billboards. Yeah, for billboards.
So auctioning for Hostel. Charlie Chitya.
Auditioning. So Vampita, then trying a role your Dodge. I think I didn't fit the role. Then I was asked to audition again. I auditioned for the role of Kilo, and that's how I got
it.
Even the character Odochi alina kuba musajja nga wangulu, which means oluzungu accent alina kuba yengulu, at even the looks. So I was
no gwa buterevu.
Yeah, na you know gwa buterevu.
Kati oba wagwao tewatya nti bagenda considering out.
No, it was just about giving it a shot. If you get it, you get it. Wachiga, you keep trying.
Wabakugambira mbodo chiganye, immediately ne bagambira we are trying something else.
I think after 2 days to go back and try a different role. Yeah, which I did. And then they didn't get back to me until I think after a week. No, Namboke Jango. Yeah, to in a role job.
Hostel ogeno kuja ku hostel. Already were you exposed enough?
Yeah, nalinza in 3 movies. 3
feature films.
Yeah.
So wano wasaba omudidi mungi.
But Hostel, of course, I think when getting it more popular. Sasa ba mudidi mungi because first of all, I can't send nali nkuguse nnyo, nali nkyayiga. So okuyiga kyali kikulu nnyo okusinga essente. Yeah, so nali nkyetaaga okuyiga, nali nkyetaaga that exposure. So to me, money wasn't the issue, but getting to learn the craft tikyali kisinga okuba ekikulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was the experience?
The experience yali nnungi, yatuwa a lot of exposure, a lot of exposure. Ate netakoma just ku exposure nereta more value. See, being on TV has also value it adds to a person. Because later as I was doing this, I also had a day job. I was working with a company in the industry area to selling technology solutions. But when again, because our clients used to be banks, telecoms, government bodies, when I mu office to sell a product. Hey, banange giro. That was my icebreaker. That was my icebreaker. So we would spend a meeting where I had Kasatu. We would spend 25 minutes in Gatwogera hostel. 5 minutes in a sango
business
to cut the deal. And I would get the deal. So it added a lot of value to me. Era nekinyamba nnyo mu kukam business. Era nzikane mukama wange buli gyagenda nga nange. Actually, there's a particular client. I think that was there was a particular client, one of the telecoms gye twagenda n'asanyuka nange buli lwojja nga meeting jangu n'omusajja and we got a lot of business. Yes, we got a lot of business from that client.
Okay. So hostel bwe yaggwa I don't know, yatambula akabanga
nga tenaggwa, I had to start thinking because we twazannyanga nga tufunamu ka break. We used to get over 2 months break. So bwe twabreakinganga nga bafans batubuuza bannange kyekiddako bannange tubamisinga mukomyawo ki. So this triggered my mind neŋŋamba okay, so there is going to be a time hostel egenda kuggwa. What do I have to offer my fans? So I had to start thinking nkoze eki ekiddako nga hostel ewedde. Of course, as an actor, you will look for the next gig. But jukira ndi muntu azze nga ndina inspiration nasoma business administration for a reason.
Otandise okulaba business in acting.
Yes. Nasoma business administration ngamba just being an actor is not good enough. The people who actually call the shots are the film producers. Kati knowledge yange yokusoma business administration wenjiretera to put it in the film industry. Now I'm not just going to be an actor, I have to become a film producer. So hostel weggwa tutandika tugulawo Nabwiso Films production. Ubanga nagezaako first okwogerako with some other friends wetwazange nabo. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Nenga vision tebagiraba. Wenjoga n'abantu mbesibyeko vision tebagiraba. Nenga but wait. Mukyala wange. My girlfriend.
Oloyogera ne fellow actors.
Fellow actors, yes. Nembagamba guys, we will need continuity at some point. Because this has to end someday. What continuity do we have? What if there is no more? So nayenga vision tebagifuna.
How can there not be more? How? The industry is just starting.
Some people don't think like that. People don't think like entrepreneurs. People, you know, we think differently. Yeah. And some people are not wired for entrepreneurship. Somehow, I think I always had a mature way of looking at things. I always looked at the future. What does the future hold for me? So when I'm like, but wait a minute. I'm in this with my wife, who is a very passionate actress. I take it besides acting, but what dange waka? Because I met her on that show. Netwanjula netuweddinga nga
ebyo jjabbe nnyumiza nno mu detail kubanga omwana oyo yali mulokole ffenna nga tumanyi mulokole tugenda okulaba ng'omutimbi olubuto
njabbe kunyumiza. So neŋŋamba nti you know what, so bwe twavanga ku set with scripts for the following day bwe tudde waka nga nkola rehearsals naye
mwali mubeera namwena.
Yes.
Kyokka temwefunira awo mwali mwemanyi
we met there, but this show also lasted about 3 years. So in those 3 years muna meeting, in those 3 years na Mwanjula, in those 3 years we went.
Okay.
Yeah. So nga bwe tudde waka we rehearse. Namugamba ndina akantu kano scene eno entewaanya naye njagala nkuzanyiremu ombulire what you think. So nga bwe muzanyiramu aŋŋamba ndowooza wandikoze bwoti oba kola bwoti kolabe kati bwe nkikola oluusi nga sikkiriziganye neŋŋamba naye kankigezeeko then following day bwe nzirayo okuzanya nekikozesa ndaba director agamba that is very good neŋŋamba at that point I noticed she had directing abilities in her. Yeah. Neŋŋamba katoke, she's a good actress, she has directing abilities in her. I have experience doing business because I still had my day job, and at that point I was a manager in that company, Generally Nkoleramu. So I'd learned how to manage people, I'd learned how to run business, and I had the knowledge of being business administration. So what does it take to make film? You need a producer, you need a good director, and of course a good script writer. I knew I could get a good script writer. I had what it takes to be a producer. My wife had what it takes to be a director. So we can actually start.
Producer and director no baawukanirawo.
Producer kati bwe nkiteeka
Muntegeere Ennyango.
Muntegeere Ennyango kati nga company yanaabeera nga MD. everybody reports to them.
The producer.
Everybody reports to the HR reporting akuye, all department heads report to the managing director. So kat also in film, producer is the person who hires and everybody reports to the director of photography, the director reports to the producer, the costume head reports to the producer, all the department report to the producer. So the producer is actually this person that makes the movie possible.
Okay.
Yeah, is the one that makes the movie.
Director yayambako ku role.
Director is a creative person. So yayamba, like when it comes to acting, he's the person that tells the story. So for this story of making a sense, you're going to give me this kind of, this is the way I want you to tell the story through acting. But director, of course, normally, chiyamba wabera even with more knowledge, maybe even on photography, shots, nagamba inokwatagana ne camera person namugamba kat shot eno mpa shot eno bweti kubange njagala njikozesa to tell the story like this. Director is a technical person really, but a director reports to the producer.
Okay.
And then the producer hires and fires a director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mwabikyusa feno wagu tumanyi director yenna nyini kintu.
So
okay.
That is how we came together and we formed Nabwiso Films, and that's how we started Okola Movies.
So moina script writer, director wali producer wali equipment.
Equipment, now there's also, even equipment is there. But of course kati we tugenda their departments, muja kuba ne sound department and it has its sound equipment. Mubere ne camera department and its equipment. You have makeup
Did you have the equipment? Or
no, we didn't have.
Hire?
In the beginning, we were just hiring. We just used to hire. The equipment was available, so we would hire.
Okay. So nemulinda hostel nagwa ne mutandika. Oba within hostel, you were doing your things.
Then tutandika okufumba echaffe. Yeah.
Tebyali byangu, I guess.
Tebyali byangu at all. Tebyali byangu. Kokola film production is also very expensive. It consumes a lot of finances. Yeah, because if you want to make a good film, first of all, you have to get the right crew and the right cast who come at a cost. Then you need the right equipment, which comes at a cost. So me having a day job, of course, I could get my money from my day job, but we are also ventured into farming. Twalina about 200 herds of goats. We had about 20 even rabbits. So when we twasala wonti kati tugenda mu film all the way. Ntunda embuzi 12. We had 20 acres of land. We sold them. We sold off the rabbit farm and got all that money and invested it in film.
Lavunga mwaina nyingi.
Twajja nyingi kubanze nali nsazeewo nti bwemba. Actually at that point I've even lost my day job.
Nga tokyalabika wefudde busy.
So when I started that I'm going to do this, I had to invest everything I had in it.
No, wasibalo ya man. Getting rid of all that.
Era when nakolera twakola a show gye twalaga on NTV bali bagita #family. It was a TV series of 13 episodes. It used to show I think every Sunday at 5. I invested all that money in that show and I can tell you that I didn't get anything out of it.
I can imagine.
I made a total loss.
Sponsor
Twafuna sponsor, but the sponsor came towards the end of the show. Zanga shebuza episodes in season okugwa. So it didn't help much. It didn't help much. But that series #family gave us also a lot of publicity. Kubanga yamala okulaga ku NTV, it also went and showed on DSTV. It won some accolades internationally, among other movies. They tried to cause Rainy, Bed of Thorns, what. So in the beginning, all we got was publicity. We got very good PR, but there was no income. But you see the beauty of good PR and consistency of good production, the money will come. So eventually the money came. Na yenga omuliro gwe twayitamu gwali mungi nnyo nti twatuuka enjala nze ne mukyala wange ne tugaana leero tugenda kusula njala era nambuuza naye bba wange decision eno gye wakola yali ntuufu ne mugamba nze nzikiriza decision ntuufu. No, it was a leap of faith that we had to take. And the good thing mukyala wange n'ayimirira nange ne tuyitamu embeera yatukuba nnyo bye tuluzinga bye tulina byonna n'emmotoka used to have a nowa bamane lenders ne bagitwala biki ne tuva mu mmotoka abali mu mmotoka ne tuvaamu ne tuddako mu Uber time ne tuka Uber nga tetukyasobola gisobola ne tuva ku Uber ne tuddako ku boda ne tutuka ne boda nebeera very expensive
ne mudda mu taxi
ne tudda mu
kyokka muli basereebu
yes kati awo wali obuzibu ng'oyingira taxi
ne wasirikawo ogira okwambala huudu buli
ne
ddaki
batandika okwekuba obwama nogira era nenyambala huudu nenyambala enkofiira nenteekako shades naye era nga bandaba waliwo lwe tulituuka okulinnya taxi tubeera nakawa ne mukyala wange ate ng'ali lubuto ng'ate lunene lwa myezi 8 olumanyi nga luwanvu bwe ruti tubeera ku stage buli omu n'atutunuulira bwati nga bagamba abantu balinnya taxi
mulova nga bali mu mbeera eyo mu bulamu
nga njala tulinye taxi eno ya 13 etutuuse ekyali wajjala tusigazeemu ogumu akasanvu
mwali mugenda kulaba musawo
gye twali tubeera twali tuddaka twali tuva kulaba musawo tuvudde tulinnya taxi naye nga njala tuke waka nga alinamu kasente ak'okugula emmere abantu baatutunulira alejjukira saa 12 saawa za bikonde omukyala w'olubuto tasobola kuba naye kikonde kulinnya taxi naye ngamba omanyi kampite Uber wetuyita Uber
tunaasula enjala ate olubuto tasula njala
naye tulinnya Uber tutuuka Uber emitwalo 2 zonna egitutte naye tutuuse waka omukyala wa lubuto embeera yakalubamu our journey of being filmmakers talimnya but I remember one particular day twali ne mukyala wange ng'ayonsa twalina mutabanyi waffe omu twalinawo akamere katono kaali ka spaghetti twalya breakfast lunch time ne tufumba ka spaghetti ne tukawa mutabanyi waffe omukulu n'alya naye ng'omanyi abaana balya ne batamalawo n'alekawo kano kalesewo tukamuterekera akalye ku dinner time netuuka sayiwemu ne tukamuwa n'alya n'agera ne yeebaka tetulina mukyala wange ayonsa enjala bannange tennumangako mu nsi naye enjala yannuma ku olwo
nga neddali tosaba mukubira ssimu
nga sirina gwe nsobola kukubira ssimu abantu be nali nsobola okukubira amasimu bonna nali mbakubidde overtime
bonnabakoye ne bagamba how could he make such a decision
era nga buli omu aŋŋamba agunsalira ne ŋŋamba kati kino nkirimu nzekka ne mukyala wange naye n'aguma ne mugambako nerumu ne mugamba naye owulira ng'embeera ekalubye ennyo osobola okuddako eka ng'eno bwe neeyiya n'aŋŋamba no kigenda kikola kubanga bwe nzira eka abantu bewaffe tebagenda kubalamu magezi gwe nga bba wange so ngenda kusigala wano naawe neŋŋamba kale
nomanyi omukyala nafuna mutuufu
enjala yatuluma ku olwo
kati mwakola mutya wamuwa amazzi
nga oba n'amazzi anywa amazzi naye nago gongera njala naye nga tulina sukaali tusobola kufumba caayi mukalu
ne sukaali teyali
ne caayi sukaali
oba
ne gaasi yali aweddemu embeera yatukaluba kyokka ng'omukyala ayonsa
ate ebiseera byo mwali muzaala bubebi mangu ndooza nawagala mukimale
nayonsa kyona atalidde naye nenfuluma nengenda ku street nentambula nsanga omusajja
nga tomanyi nagyolaga
oyo wakaduuka kati wakaduuka nali nayisewo dde emisana mukyala we nangoba yatukoba mangi kati usanga omusajja muga oyinamu awo kasente awo njaka kuba ku makya ngenda kakola kireesi nagamba mbadde nva country naye inamu 1,500 olwo kale ngaakakadde n'ekitundu no nadduka ekyali wajjala mu trading center nengula Rolex kyekyali oba n'amaduka gaali gagadde ozaalinga saawa 5 za kiro nengula Rolex nga be bakyaliwo nenkabone nga mukyala wange ndese dina netusala Rolex ku kitundu naali ekitundu nendi ekitundu
abaana beebase
naye nasaba essaala kolomu neŋŋaa mukama buno olunaku teruddangamu okulaba obulamu okulabisibwa mu bulamu bwange and I think after that day God heard my prayers and things changed. We continued the journey of doing film up to this day film yetuliisizza, yetunywesezza, yesasudde school fees, yetuzimbidde, yetuguli. We live, eat, drink, film. But we just had to take a leap of faith. Omuntu ajja kundaba leero agambe bano bantu babiggwamu bigwe, but we've walked a journey. We sold everything we had and invested in film and made losses and continued doing it because we had the passion and we had decided. And this is the journey and there is no other journey. So today, it is easy for someone to say Nagamba, no, bali lucky, but we were never lucky. We worked hard, we were passionate, we were focused.
What is that film yaba nunula mumbera?
No, kati actually not film. But wetwakola films hizi nenyingi ezatuwa good PR. They opened up doors for us with many NGOs and government, some government ministries. Kubanga twatandika okukola a lot of documentaries for UN organizations, UNFPA, UN what, WHO. We did so many documentaries. Now this is how our income started coming in. We did so many TV commercials. We did so many TV commercials for the Ministry of Health. We did a lot of commercials, so many documentaries. Now this is where our income was coming from. Money wasn't coming from the film. Money was coming from other things. We did so many projects that but we just, what we made sure is that we were good at what we are doing and we were consistent with the production. We would rather make a loss on a production than do mediocre work. Because first and foremost, we value our clients. The day you get a client is the day you start losing them. So from day one, you have to fight to keep this client by doing something excellent. When we call it a documentary, Edako, you have to do better. Edako has to be better. Edako has to be better. That's the only way you're keeping them, or else somebody else is taking them away. So we remained consistent with our quality of production of work. And that is what has gotten us to where we are today.
Okay.
So I can't say film when over film where, but it has been a collective effort of so many projects that we've done. Yeah, that has put us where we are today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No, these are stories, but I think many people can relate with me. People have gone through things like this. I was born on a silver platter, but I was never. Yes, my wife grew up from a well-to-do family. My family was average. But we've come through stuff, but yeah, if you're determined, if you work hard, if you're focused.
Even within that time, she never called home.
But somehow, I think the mother would know. Would tell. The mothers always tell. Because the mother knew that I'd lost my job. So somehow, she would quietly send some command to the daughter. Because she also didn't want me to feel small in her presence. So we would get support sometimes here and there, but we stayed focused on what we wanted to do. And
yeah, there is no way she could run out.
Yeah, because she they never hustled. She actually, I think her first hustle was after she met me. Yeah. But
more reason you should respect her. All right, we're taking the last breather. We're to come out. Hope, ne patra, were roommates and friends. Ngono your girlfriend. Kumbe no ye real life no your girlfriend. How did you manage that? All right, to come out, please don't go away. How do these two meet to become husband and wife? Talk about. Welcome back.
fact that Karamoja, the movie, premiered I think a month ago.
Yeah.
Or last month.
Abantu bajaniriza nnyo, twakola screening mu Century Cinemax and we had a full house. What kyenga nti abantu bajaniriza kubanga mu cinema at the same time waliwo film endala ezaali zigenda mu maaso, American blockbusters nga za mitwalo 2 kitundu, but people are paying 50,000 shillings to watch a Ugandan film. So bajaniriza.
Film sente zaayo ziva mwezo byemugenda mu.
Yeah, film of course sente zijja kuva mu bintu bya njawulo, through premiere, through screenings. Some festivals actually also come with money. So yeah, though I would say mostly it is the PR that it brings with it. To me, in my experience, it's mostly the PR it brings, because the PR that it brings give you opportunity to do many other things, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because nobody is going to go and watch a documentary, but these jobs come, TV commercials, all these things come because of your brand as a good filmmaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the issue. You and Eleanor mwesanga mu hostel. Wakegombera nga kali awo.
Nakegombera awo era wakalabya awo nga kali kakyali kati.
Character ye erimu oluhope oba erimu of which other character did she play that is completely different?
Actually when Musanga, she was totally the opposite of Hope. She was the total opposite of Hope. Era mikwano gya bamulabanga, then they were like in shock. Okulabanga she can act Hope that well, because she was the total opposite. Ubanga omubeera ku film she is that Hope omuwala omulokole. Naye amuvaayo omusanga mu bbaala ng'ali waggulu ku mmeeza abuuka. She was crazy. She was crazy, but that craziness, eyo
ennungi
yamunjagaza nnyo.
You love crazy girl.
Yeah, because I'm also a little bit calm, so I needed somebody with more energy. Yeah, so it was.
Okay. So muva ku set bwe muti omugamba I'll drop you home. I'll drop you off.
It's funny how it all began. I think she came to audition on a different day. Then one day we had gone for a read-through. So tuli awo ku set fenna, like what was the first time we were all meeting as cast. So I was with a friend, he was the DP, amwita Musta. So ngagamba, wa, set kuno kuliko obwana obulabika obulungi. Namugamba, okalaye kaliko nze. Sikabi.
Wolika Hope. Yali kaliwa.
Wina ye yali ke yali atunuli. Sikabi, yeah. But somehow, she knows she was full of life. So before you knew it, we had become friends. So she was fun to hang with. She was really, really fun to hang with. And we could say maybe let's go and hang out. So because we used to hang out, like it would also help build chemistry among us. Neenga, she's fun to hang with, so it was fun to hang out with her. I hang out with her today, you want to hang out with her tomorrow again before. So first we actually became friends. And when we became friends, we were open to each other. She wasn't hiding anything from me, I wasn't hiding anything from her.
You didn't have any girl at that time?
No, not at the time. So, so we got really, really close as friends, and we liked each other's company. So in that process, when we say that marry your friend, because you're open, you're not hiding anything. Because the challenge I think I find that with some relationships is people hide things. Kijja mutiisa obajja kudduka badde ezedde lwagenda okira ate lwali kiraba ate kijja muddusa nnyo kubanga agamba who are you kati ate ffe kati when we meet as friends we were open nga nkola effujjo lyange lyonna nendimalayo naye naakolera lyonna n'alimalayo. It's just like, I don't know if you have a close friend or somebody who has been
ng'omumanyi nti she's capable of doing that. Ekyo akikola sikiwakanira.
Yes. So by the time you know each other that way, but there is a point at which you learn to tolerate their goods and their ugly sides. So when you have that, even in a relationship, it helps. Because Then what else? What else can be more challenging than that?
She's going to be my wife. Oba mumwali having a fun.
I always had...
Because she seemed young.
Yes, she seemed young. Okay, but looked much younger than she was. Up to this day, she still looks younger than she is. Yeah, but every time I would meet a woman and had a conversation, within the first 15 minutes, I would see if I can actually, if this person has potential to be married, the kind of wife I would want or not. So when first time I think we went out and I sat and I had this chat, I could see it. Katemba, I was just kumutestinga kulaba nti wemba sina sente ago. By the zino tests nazimukolako wemba sina sente ago. Yangamba, let's go out. No, sina sente. What do you mean you have no money? I am broke. You're broke. Tugende. Me, I'll get money together. I was like, oh, okay. Together and we go hang out the whole night and she pays. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So, she had already passed the test. She could stand with me even when things were bad.
When you threw the word,
of course she liked me, but I don't think she was ready. Because the day I proposed to her, nangamba naye Matthew, nze simanyi kufumba. Unakola otya?
The younger you are eating out.
Simanyi kufumba. Kufumba bufumbi. Nze nali kufumba. My mom taught me cooking by the time I was in P7 mpata matoke nenganyiga nengajula. So I knew how to cook. Nemugamba, if that's your challenge, if you have the right attitude, I can teach you how to cook. Simanyi kukola milimo. Nemugamba ati nze mbadde nkola emirimu mu nyumba yange all my life. If you have the right attitude, I can teach you kukola emirimu. But if it is just you don't know, I can teach you.
But you're willing to learn.
If you're willing to learn, I can teach you. And that is actually what happened. Emyaka gyaffe gyasooka sinali siva mu ffumbiro.
Yali amaze okusoma?
Yali amaze, yes, she was done with university at that time. Yes, she had finished her course. So emyaka egyasooka nabeeranga mu ffumbiro. Ofumba bwoti, owata bwoti, okola bwoti.
Nendoza ntamanyi kuwata.
Yali tabimanyi byonna. But she learned. Era bw'amala okuyiga ate nangoba mu ffumbiro nga ndaye kata lugezigezi lungi otote kamuzayo kati gundi fuluma kamfumbe.
She was pregnant when you proposed, right?
No. She wasn't. But
I remember I was in Nairobi when those pictures came out. But
she got, wait, what happened? I don't remember what happened. Why she got pregnant first? I don't remember actually. What came first, the pregnancy or the proposal?
I think it was the pregnancy, because everybody was like,
yeah,
she must be pregnant. Try to manage the whole poly. Then where you seemed like this guy, actually could be a marriage. I'm actually surprised with your story. You seem to be a serious guy.
Yes.
Try to have a model, actor, maybe a marriage in his life. And then, Kwanjula.
Yeah.
So when you proposed, she immediately said yes.
Yeah, she said yes. She just had those concerns, which I said,
I'll handle.
Those I'll handle. She was like, okay.
They knew about your relationship.
Yeah.
Did it affecting how you act, how you play your role?
Because we actually remained professional at work. We remained as professional as possible. If she's acting with Brother John, she had to be. When I'm acting with Patra, I had to be. We kept it as professional as possible. Yeah.
Why is Gilo holding Patra like that? We
knew what we had gotten ourselves into, so we just had to deal with it. Nimanya toke Patra kusetwe tumara. Nze ne wange nga tudde waka ne Patra ngagenda iyo ne Brother John ngagenda agage. Yeah, so we really, I don't think we didn't really have issues.
Okay. And the families, bona virtual coming?
The family is virtual coming. Fun enough, her mother was a big fan of the hostel and a big fan of Gilo. And you had to remove. Babera balaba hostel. ngamulaba ne brother John agamba John simwagala wakiri singa oli avuga pikipiki.
Yeah, brother John.
At the time she didn't know there was even anything going on. So she would just listen and keep quiet. She's like, if only you knew.
Brother John naye yali yayitiriza obukaka. Kati mami yali ayagaliza muwala we. Amwagaliza omusajja omuyaaye.
Ngamwagaliza omusajja omuyaaye. So when she got to know, I think she was like the happiest. Like, wow. I thought it was just a dream. So she was the happiest. Then, of course, also my family. My dad knew her dad, because they had been together sometimes, because he keeps telling us a story of how they traveled together to the UK when I think one was going to Oxford University, the other was going, I think, over to which university? Yeah, but so they had met, so it was like, I know her dad, I know Reverend. So the parents welcomed it. There was really zero hassles, completely no hassles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Embaga byali bitya?
Embaga yali nungi. I think first twakola okwanjula, netukola okwanjula kwali kulungi nnyo. After the kwanjula we had, I think we did our kwanjula, she was heavy. Then after we had our first child, then after that child, then we did the wedding. Yali nungi nnyo.
Mwateesa until you have your kids first, then concentrate on your careers.
Tetwakiteesa pase kyajjabuzi, but I think it was the best thing that happened to us. Yeah.
When you look at yourselves now.
Yeah, when we look at ourselves now, actually I think after the second child there, I was thinking over kansoke muwemu break, because she was also afraid of losing her career as an actress. Ate we thought, we were like, okay, now. And we have two boys. Yeah. I know, so and now we are just focusing on the careers.
You have two girls.
Two girls, two boys. Kato omuntu yenna ajja kwonona. Kujjawo nga bazze babiri ene nakato. Sorry, babiri ne kato. But otherwise, I think they are good. The boys play together, the girls play together, and I think we also play together, so we are comfortable.
Okay. Mwebale kutambuza family, we haven't had so many issues with you guys. Your couple has.
No, I think we've really not done things that push us to do that. First of all, I think one, being friends helps. That Kubango, I think one of the things that complicate relationships is one, if you marry for the wrong reasons, it's going to be really complicated. Because today, some people will marry for money, other people will marry for looks, but these things are not sustainable.
So marrying for what?
For love. We wanted each other's company. We wanted each other's company for sure. That's why even when we were broke, we were together. When we made it, we still stayed together. So money wasn't an issue, or poverty wasn't an issue. It was each other's company. That's why you see us actually hang out together. Wherever we go, we are together. So I don't get tired of hanging out with her. She doesn't get tired of hanging out with me. The challenge with some relationships is omusajja mpamu break njala kola byange. And also I feel that is also an issue.
Yeah,
you see, because you learn to grow apart. You will actually learn to grow apart.
When you learn to
when you give each other breaks, yeah, you learn to grow apart, yes. But omuntu gwobera naye buli lwatabaawo, you feel like something is missing. If I actually went out alone, maybe with the boys, I will see something and I want to gossip with her, and then I realize, oh,
she's not here.
Because taliwo. Nganzira why nina kendabe wano. Because we are used to hanging out together.
She actually doesn't use helpers at home. She does everything by herself.
Today we do, but there was a time when we didn't use helpers for a long time. Because yes, we wanted to do things ourselves and also to be involved mu bulamu bw'abaana ba. Nze nange kinyumira okuzuukusa omwana nengenda nemwenaaliza nemwambaza engoye. There's that bonding you get that you miss out with helpers. Yeah. Nemwetwalira ku ssomero nemwejjirayo. There is that bond it brings.
Okay.
Which, yeah.
So eventually emirimu gyabayitirira
emirimu gyamala gituyitirako naddala when we started filming Sanyu became very very demanding on a daily nga tugenda okusanga nti either you're late for work because osoose kutwala abaana oba oluusi you late to pick them because scenes ziruddewo oluusi nomapika ku mulimu ku ssomero saawa emu oluusi saawa 2 nga mbasanze bakabye they were like okay I think let's get a help at home and maybe a driver to do pick and drop so that when they can come home. Yeah, but because our schedules became really, really heavy, but if it wasn't for that, we were liking what we were doing. Yes, chimenya, but there is no better gift you can give to yourselves as a family than doing things together.
Okay. Do you see acting in them?
Yes. Yes, actually they have all acted. Our youngest girl, Katoka baby, kali 4 years, kazanye musanyu, nga baby wa sanyu ne Oscar. So kazanye kalina fujo walole kagano okuzanya nno.
Nemukola muti.
Ne wakagamba, of course as a director mugamba, so today this is Oscar is your daddy. Kanga no, Oscar is not daddy. Oscar is Uncle Alan. He's not daddy. Ne kagamba, and because of that I'm not going to act today.
Yali frank.
Yagano kutunula mu kamera n'atunula eri ne bamusitula, but we cheated the scene naye yagano kuba koli yagamba no this is not daddy, this is Uncle Alan.
Ngayagala mumuleka mwite Uncle Alan.
Ye waba Uncle Alan tuzanye naye ngamba nti daddy sigenda zanya naye. The daddy wange.
Ne mukivaako ne mulinda another day.
No, but we shot it and actually it doesn't even show, but this is a backstory. So yomuto, the other young girl omuwala omukulu, first she acted in a film we did called Prickly Roses. Then she also did some TV commercials we did for an NGO called CDFU, and she takes direction. Kuba twazanya commercial, I think during COVID, it was her, my wife was acting as their mother, and our eldest boy and the eldest girl were acting as her children. Then this Muzei Bato of Sanyu was the husband. So we had this scene where the husband is beating the wife, and we needed to see the emotions, the effect that is carried onto children because of COVID. So we're trying to show the effect it can have on the children. And when these kids acted, I looked at Nadaleka girl, you give her direction once and she gives you an emotion, you go like, whoa. I feel like utilizing I've seen great potential in her as an actress. Then the elder boy, of course, has acted as a major support character in the movie 24 Hours, on top of doing those commercials. Then Omlalo Mlenzo Wokubiri has been acting in Sanyu as Kule. And yeah, so they've all acted. Yeah.
So mutandise obavuga mpola mpola.
Tubavugira bakusoma babuza mwagala kubera kyawa. Actually omukulu yagamba musomesa I want to be a producer. And the teacher lost it.
Producer of what?
What do you mean producer? Vanavana, they are getting wrong. Actually, Vampita. Vanavana, they are getting wrong ideas. What? Because the teacher wanted to hear the child say I want to be an engineer.
Because the teacher doesn't know what a producer does, so it's a wrong idea.
Nange chitawe goyi say I'm a film producer. That's what the child wants to become.
Nachitegeera, or she was still disappointed.
Nachitegeera, because I'm like, but that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah.
Okay. What has been the hardest part for you in parenting?
I think the hardest task, which I think is a challenge to many of us parents today, kwe kuyigiriza abaana ennimi ennansi. Abaana boogera Luzungu. Ogenda omwogerera Olusoga oba Oluganda nga, what's that? That has been my biggest challenge. Ebirala byonna byanguye.
Lwaki kivudde ku kintu?
I think personally nalowooza nti omwana asobola okuyiga olulimi olunansi automatically. Banaffe twaziga, so I thought it is automatic. Kasooke tubogerera Oluzungu, they will learn. What? Bakwamirayo. Yes, but actually we should have introduced our local languages first, because English they will learn automatically even when they go to school. So I think that has been my biggest challenge as a parent. I am trying era
switching
kati
and
mbogerera I am trying era baagala tebaagala bajja ziyiga because that is now my goal. Yes, balina okuziyiga because they lose identity. I can't have them lose identity.
You and your wife mugenda kwogera
Anti nekyo kizibu naffe tubadde twogera oluzungu but now we are trying to speak as much vernacular as we can at home so that batuyigirako.
But it's never too late.
It's never too late. I think they will learn.
Ate obango batute mu international school.
Asigenda batwala mu international school saagala.
Bagenda kudda not just English but that accent eri heavy. Ng'okubasonsekamu olusoga lwojja kutobana. So film is now your direction.
Yeah.
Tosuubira bintu birala.
No, I can diversify. I'm also doing other things. Venturing a little into a little real estate, but I'm also doing a couple of other things. But film is my core.
Farm yo wagizaawo.
Farm sinagizaawo. Farm bwe nagizaawo ngenda gizaawo. Nja gizaawo at a certain point. I will.
Okay. Awards of Nyemeka. Wewe mwagenda waje mubadde recently. So mulinga abali ku world tour.
Yeah, we went for a Europe tour. We needed to take a break. We traveled to Belgium. From Belgium, we went to Netherlands. From there, we went to Switzerland. Then we went to Sweden. We, one, needed to have a break. Then two, also to look for more business opportunities because we were trying to look at how can we be able to sell our products internationally. So sometimes you need to get a face-to-face with somebody to how do I penetrate this market? How
Did
do I
you
do
succeed?
It is still work in progress. It is still work in progress. Yeah.
Ani oyo gweyagala okuzanya naye or to produce with, to work with on a big project?
At first, I used to have very big dreams of working with the marvels of this world, but I think Nachizula, it's a very long shot. It's a very long shot because for Marvel to work with me, I have to come with equal value, financial value, which I can't do. So I've just decided to work with, I want to work more with African filmmakers, African actors, and to collect our own thing on this African continent because actually our first audience is African. But we want to do a lot to grow more by working with African producers, directors, and actors.
So far, not yet there.
Yeah, we are still, it's still work in progress.
All right. All the best.
Thank you.
Greetings to Eleanor and the little ones. Any last shot?
Yeah, I would like to say hi to my wife and children. Bagala nnyo. You're the reason I keep working hard and thank you for being a good family. Kubanga bantu balungi nnyo, mukyala wange ansupportinze nnyo, abaana abatusupportinze nnyo to keep pushing us to do what we're doing. So I love you, my first love. Of course, I want to I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus for giving me the leap of faith to go the journey I've gone, and most importantly, our fans, people who love our movies, people who come to our movie premieres, people who watch our shows, Sanyu, and all these things. But without you guys, but thank you for always giving us good reviews. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being there for our events. Thank you for watching our shows. Thank you for paying for our shows. We appreciate. We don't take any of that for granted. Please keep it up. Sponsor twagala kwebaza NTV okumpa akadde okubeera wano olwaleero okunyumyako namwe okunyumyako ne Farida mbadde sinyumyangako naye bwenti and to share my journey. My social media handles are Matthew Nabwiso or Nabwiso Films on across the platforms, so tusobola okweyongera okukwatagana there.
What's your hobby?
My hobby, the hobby became a job, acting. But other than that, yes, I like swimming, I like playing basketball. Yeah.
Kale, and just like that, the week has ended to a summit. Mobadenafe all through. Looking forward to next week. We wish you the best weekend. Bye-bye.